The key factor for getting into UBC SAUDER is not just one thing. It's not only about your grades or only about your extracurriculars. Personally, for me, what helped me get into SAUDER was making strategic choices. Hey guys, my name is Sophie. I'm currently a first-year student at UBC SAUDER, which, by the way, is exactly where I'm shooting this video right now. I'm in one of the lecture halls. The room is completely empty. It's a Saturday, so hopefully I won't get kicked out, but we'll see about that. Anyways, for those of you who are curious, I'm specializing in business and computer science, and in this video, I'll be going over the most important factors that could determine your chances of admission into UBC's business school. I'll be going over all the components of your SAUDER application, and I will also elaborate on what I meant by making strategic choices. Before I get into the content, however, I would like to shout out UFULI for sponsoring this video. If you want help from a SAUDER alum preparing you for your video interview and helping you craft the perfect stories for your personal profile, well, they offer high-quality one-on-one coaching programs that focus exactly on that. All you need to do is head to the link in the description and you will get 5% off. Moving away from that, let's talk about those factors. So number one, grades. I know personally for me this is something I was very stressed out about, and I kept searching for this golden number that would guarantee my admission into SAUDER. Well, let me just tell you right now that that number does not exist. There is no guarantee, and you need to realize that. But if I were to give you some sort of number, because I know that's what I needed at the time, from what I've heard, the average for the successful applicant seems to be 96%, which is, I know, very high. My average at the time was definitely not that high. From what I remember, I was getting a 94 on average for my grade 11 and 12 grades. I was getting 94%. But again, all you need to do is make strategic choices. So if your grades aren't not necessarily as high as you would like them to be, all you need to do is put a bit more time into your extracurriculars and your personal profile. And that actually brings me to my second point, which is being involved in non-academic activities. On your personal profile, as you might know already, you have to list 5 activities that you're involved in. And I'll be making an entire video on personal profile because there's so much to talk about, and I'll go through all my answers. But what I can tell you right now is that you definitely want to be well-rounded, because that's what SAUDER looks for. You don't want to be all about business. I talked about a lot of things on my application. Some of them were business related, some of them weren't. For example, one of the 5 activities I had was working in an accounting firm, which is directly related to business. But another thing I chose to put as one of my 5 activities was involvement in art-related activities. So I talked about how I use it as an emotional outlet, but also how I was able to use my art skills to raise money for a fundraiser. So again, balance. Now let's talk about the video interview. And I know this portion of the application can seem very scary. I know it did for me, but what I would say is that there is no right way to prepare for this interview. The questions you're gonna get are likely gonna seem very vague and much like the ones you see in your personal profile. I remember one of the 2 questions I got myself was, in UBC SAUDER, we care about the 3 R's. Those are respect, rigor, and responsibility. And I believe my question was, how do you demonstrate that in your daily life? And guess what? At the time, I had no idea what the word rigor meant. It was my first time ever hearing that word. And I tried to quickly look up the word on my phone in the time you have to prepare for your answer. And I didn't know how to spell it. So I answered that question without even knowing what the word rigor meant, without fully understanding the question. But what I did was I stayed calm and I crafted the best answer I could at the time. And guess what? It worked out. So definitely try your best to prepare for the interview, see if you can find any questions online. It's going to be very hard because those are not available, obviously. There are 200 questions from what I remember, and the ones you get are randomly generated. But all you can do is have a list of your extracurriculars or things you would like to mention in your application, in your video interview, and mention them. That is all for this video. I just really hope at least some of the things I said come handy to you. And if you have any questions or any ideas for future videos, just feel free to comment them down below. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for the video about the personal profile. And by the way, don't forget to check out Ufuli's coaching programs and free resources with the link below. I'll see you in the next video.